Hello! Today we're going to make Bajan fish cakes from Barbados, accompanied with a homemade herbs mayonnaise. Fish cakes are often served as breakfast together with sweet bakes in Barbados. First we are going to make the homemade herb mayonnaise because it has to cool down a bit. What you will need is some garden herbs. Here we have parsley, dill, basil, chives and mint. And you also need bruschetta spice or herbs and mayonnaise. You can also, we are going to use a kitchen chopper because it's way easier to chop up the herbs and mix it together with the mayonnaise. But you can always use a knife. If you use a knife, then you have to just chop it very finely and mix it in a bowl very well. So we are going to start with taking our herbs and cutting it into smaller pieces so we can fit it into the container here. Very good. You can do it with a knife. I'm going to just cut it into smaller pieces like this. But of course, if you want to, you can always use a scissor. It's also very easy to use. To make it easier to cut the first batch of herbs, we're going to first add a bit of mayonnaise to kind of lube it up. So we're going to take a spoon and just add a spoon of mayonnaise. Okay. You can always add more mayonnaise if you want to. Okay. This should be about enough. Always remember to clean your utensils if you're not going to use it. But you can now just put it somewhere else, we're still going to use it. Okay, so we're going to add our first batch. I'm going to cut it once more smaller. Let's just add it. Try not to get your container dirty like I did. That's not be that good. And then just put your lid on, or if you're using a bowl, mix it well. And we're going to put this here. Loud sound warning. And we'll just have to mix it until it's properly cut up and mixed. You'll have to repeat this a few times. And we'll now do this with the other herbs. And we're going to give you an example that you could just use the scissors. It's actually pretty easy. You don't have to do it too finely, just so you can properly fit. So you're going to repeat this multiple times. You add your herbs again, maybe a little bit of mayonnaise. Always keep adding and adding. You'll have you'll not be able to use all of the mayonnaise with just this one dish. So you'll have some bit of mayonnaise left.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to keep going up. At some point you will not be able to add more, and then you just put it into your bowl, the mixture of the bit of mayonnaise and the herbs, put it into a bowl, and then add the rest of the mayonnaise and then mix it together with a spoon. now that we've added all of our herbs, we can add our bruschetta herbs or spice. It's just look a bit like this. It depends how much mayonnaise you have used. Just add this around. Again, if you're using a knife and not a kitchen chopper, just add it and stir it well. Then we just do the same again. Now the bruschetta herbs have been mixed with the rest of the herbs and mayonnaise. We're going to empty our pot of mayonnaise in our bowl. So you can just use a spoon. At some point we'll have to use something like this to completely get all of the mayonnaise out of it. We'll never be able to empty you'll never be able to empty it completely because it will always be a bit on the side. So just add everything that you can get out of it and then add our mixture of herbs and a bit of mayonnaise.
Go.
So when you emptied the jar of mayonnaise, you empty your container of the kitchen chopper or your bowl where you used the knife with, and then add it to there. Just completely empty it. Be sure to scrape by the sides. Do not lose any of the herbs, because the more herbs, the more taste it will have, which of course is good. One last. Now that you've added your herb mixture to the rest of the mayonnaise, you just stir it well and completely mix the mayonnaise with the rest of the mixture. When it's all mixed, then it's time to add the pepper and salt, by taste of course. Some people like more salty things, while others like more spicy things with pepper. So when that is done, we indeed just take the pepper and we first taste it. You should use a spoon, but of course if nobody else eats from it, you want to use it with a finger, save some of the dishes, and of course you can do it with your finger. Going to take a little on the spoon and I think it needs a bit of salt and quite a bit of pepper. And then the pepper. And then I'll taste it again. Oh, you first need to stir it, of course. I forgot a bit. Stir it until everything is yet again completely mixed with each other. And then taste once more. If you bake for other people, then just use another spoon again. But well, it's only for my own, so. Perfect. Now I'll put it in the fridge for it to cool down. Sauce is always better when it's completely cold. So now we're going to make our fish steaks. So our ingredients, what do we need? Well, we need fish. Cold works the best, but we had some pangasius, and then cold. We mix two fish together. It's fine. You can use whatever fish you want. Only it's best that it's a bit flaky, and do keep in mind how long it needs to cook. We're going to cook it for 6 minutes, by the way. Then we need 1 onion, a small hot pepper, an egg, baking powder, flour, salt is here. We will also need water to make our batter more fluid or more solid. And then for some herbs we have thyme, and then we have some more parsley. I wouldn't use too much thyme because it's pretty strong in taste. Okay, so we are going to start with chopping the onion and the pepper very finely, and then we will lightly beat the egg in a bowl. And meanwhile, we will cook the fish in boiling water. That is right there. I would add a bit of salt into the water to take our fish and start cooking it for 6 minutes. We're going to put a timer here. Then add a pinch of salt. Then we'll add our fish. If the fish has not been filleted yet, we'll have to fillet it, of course. So this is our pangasius, and then we have our cold. Cold works really well because of the texture. It easily goes with the batter. Now you put a lid on top. When the 6 minutes are over and you have stopped stopped everything, you now have to take the fish out. You can use a fork, a spoon, whatever. We just use this big spoon with holes in it and put it on paper so it can drain out the water. Okay, if you have emptied the bowl of fish or the cooking pot, you can fillet the fish with a fork or with your fingers if you desire. So we will just put it in our bowl and flake it in there because it's easier. Please watch out because it can melt.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if it is a bit wet on the top, you can still tip it off to get all of the excess water out. Afterwards we will put it in this bowl, like I said. It's a bit difficult because it's a flaky fish. That's good though, because the flakier the fish is, is how better it will work in this dish. We'll just put all the fish in here. Take this and put it in our bin. This is our bin for now. And now we'll start flaking the fish. After we're done flaking, we will add all the ingredients to this and make the batter, and then we're almost finished. First of all, a few facts while we are flaking the fish. I'll tell you a few facts about fish cakes. Fish cakes first actually appeared in England under the name fish cakes in the book of household management, published in the 19th century by Mrs. Beaton. It was mentioned that fish cakes were used to mix the leftover fish and the cold potatoes from meals before, so you can get rid of leftovers. So it's pretty smart idea. And on top of that, I don't actually eat a lot of fish, but I do still like it, and that's why I chose this recipe. It looks delicious. After you're almost done flaking the fish, you can add the rest of the herb of the. You can just add everything. For the parsley, I have a pretty handy trick to cut it very thinly. You first cut off the little twigs on the end, then put them in a glass. Fill it with every single one of them. And then you actually just put your scissors in the glass and just cut it. It works a bit like the kitchen chopper we used earlier. Only now you cut it like this instead of it going around. So if you put all your parsley in the glass, you just chop it like this. And put all the parsley at once and very quickly. Switch sides so you can chop them up really, really thinly. So when you're done cutting everything up, lightly beating your egg, collecting the right amounts of flour and baking powder, we will start with adding everything to this bowl. It might seem that we have a little bit more of some things because we had a little bit more of fish, so we used 2 eggs instead, and we'll probably use a bit more flour, but it's mostly by the texture. You will add more flour or more water to see if the texture is right. So we'll start with our parsley. Just get everything of it in there. I'll just use my finger to get all of it out. So I'll get it out, but we have more than enough in there already. Then your finely diced onions and peppers. Just make sure it is all in line. It makes it easier to just swoop it in there. Okay, then just add your egg. Lightly beaten is that you do beat it so there are no white parts left, but make sure you do not make it completely foamy. Then you take your thyme. Thyme is, just keep adding your thyme, the leaves of the thyme of course. You can kind of rub it off there. It won't completely work. Sometimes we have a twig with you, so you don't want that actually. Okay, if all of your thyme is in there, you will start adding the flour. Just add a cup of flour to there. I'm going to take a tiny bit more because we have more fish, like I said. Just not too much, like this.
Go.
Okay. And then finally we will add our baking powder. 1 teaspoon. Then we will mix it up. At some point you will probably need to use your fingers to get a good batter for fish cakes. Mine seems to be a little bit too dry, so I will add a bit of water. Not too much. will start mixing it. Make sure you scrape along the sides and on the bottom, otherwise you might have some leftover flour. Now we're going to take the batter. It should look kind of like this. We'll take the batter. I will use a spoon. With a spoon, get some portions, about like this, and form it a bit into a ball. And then I will put it into the pan that I've done, and I've put olive oil in there. Sure, if you do not want to use too much oil, like we do, you do not have to fully cover it. You can do it like this and keep swirling it. I think my mom will help me with swirling it right now. It should look a bit like this. Do not make them too big, or it will be difficult to fully cook them through without burning the edges. And too small, they will just instantly be gone. So just make medium-sized balls and always the same size, like I did. It's also pretty difficult to properly form the balls if your hands are fully sticky. Just wipe them off a bit, and it should work a bit better. If it doesn't work, you can just wash your hands and go back to making your fish cakes. Then we are done. This is our final result. It looks delicious. We have our fish cakes here and our herbs mayonnaise here. I'll taste now. I mean, I don't want to taste. It's very hot. It's delicious. I recommend it. It's delicious. That's everything. I'll say one last thing. Of course, it is not healthy. It is to be cooked in oil. But it is always healthier to make your own fish cakes. They're also more delicious than buying them in the store, in the freezer, or anywhere else. That's everything. Thank you for watching, and bye.